Good morning, world. On site, on location. Introducing this morning the guru. Although I'm sure he will not label himself as the guru, Mr. Jamar Goodman.
What's going on this morning?
And for those who do not know who I am Mr. Brandon Price, who would like to welcome you this morning to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Today is August 22nd, 2020. And we are in the midst, everybody, of playoff territory for the NBA, which gives us an additional reason to be excited. And so with that being said, we got a lot to cover this morning. Number of things in regards to basketball and various other sports. And so let's get right into it. And so, Jamar, I want to ask you in regards to everything that's been going on in regards to COVID. You noticed this past week, right? So you got parents and stuff. They are like going crazy right now in regards to the Big Ten and their kids not being able to play. And then the other conference, the Pac-12, I don't know what they're doing out west, but I know the Big Ten, which I don't know if most of the world knows, but the Big Ten headquarters is downtown Chicago. It's right pretty much outside the Gold Coast, West Gold Coast, if that makes sense, like the west side of the Gold Coast, right near the East Bank Club. And so they got those headquarters. And so you got people that's been protesting, coming from various states, like, hey, my kid, Justin Fields, he's one of the top prospects. I know y'all not trying to cancel his season, or I know y'all not trying to bring his season up to the wintertime, which could affect his game possibly. So they trying their best to get this season going for various reasons, of course. And additionally, they want to try to get the season going for revenue purposes, for their conferences, and a variety of other motivations, of course, to try to get that season going. And so with all this going on, it kind of makes the average person think like, okay, should they maybe just go ahead and resume the season? Maybe it won't be as bad and those parents will be happy. But with that being said, we get caught up in different things, but sometimes wisdom comes in. And so I don't know where you lie with this, Jamar. So do you think that the Big Ten and Pac-12 should resume football, or is this the right move in regards to these conferences canceling that season?
Whew, man, this is tough, man. Like, on one side, you just want to, protect the health and safety of players and students. On the other side, it's like, you got the ones that's like hurting, might be stagnating their career here, trying to go to the next level, and it's money issues, and this is rough. Like, I mean, I'll say this: I 100% blame the head committee of the NCAA right now for not like putting a structured plan in place. I feel like, it's basically up to each conference to do what they want to do.
Right.
And which is creating this tension right now, because it's like, well, should I have my kid like go to one of those other conferences that's playing right now? Like, what should I do about my son that's probably projected in the third round right now, but he needs more game film to be evaluated. But I'm stuck playing at Ohio State that can't play right now, or may not play at all. So, man, this is so tough, man. Like, it really has me stumped, bro. like I get it from both sides, I really do. But the fact that it's so much inconsistency across the whole college football, that's my biggest issue. It's either you're all going to play or you're not going to play. It should not be 2 conferences here not playing, 3 conferences playing, like one
Yeah,
conference. That's the problem, man.
right. It seems like, if you got 3 conferences playing and you got 3 conferences playing, 2 not playing. Like you say, there doesn't seems to be a pure NCAA structure. It seems like it's like a conference by conference structure, in which basically I was shocked to just see how it was structured and how, like, you got these conferences saying this and these conferences saying that. Like, I'm just really shocked to find out that pretty much they're their own leagues.
Yeah.
That's what you're pretty much saying. You're pretty much saying that you got 5 Power 5 leagues that makes their own decisions, that makes their own revenue, and that makes their own, everything. And pretty much the NCAA, just they're sitting back and they're like, okay, this is all within you individual pieces of power. You all have individual power. And for me, it's like that doesn't seem to have a strong structure. But let's hit on the parents. So Justin Fields' parents, these, I'm sure other parents, they've been down, protesting the different things so that their kids can play. I understand that. And, some parents are saying if you're going to protest in the spring, then, if you're going to protest in the fall, then it's a possibility that they'll protest or they won't do the season in the spring. This is what some parents believe, Jamar. They believe that with the virus, if things are going the way it's going now, they don't see much of a change in the spring. They don't. And so what they're saying is that it's best to just go ahead and get the season going, because there's not going to be much of a difference between the fall and the spring.
Gotcha.
And so, parents are like, let's just all go ahead and play simultaneously. It'll be better to have all Power 5 conferences playing simultaneously rather than, what they're having. And so I can see that point. I can additionally see the fact of the big players, their draft stock and different things, and the hit that it would take on their bodies if they play in the spring and then have to go right back into camps, for training camps and different things to get drafted. And after you get drafted, then you're going right into different camps with your teams, just individual workouts and different things. And upon that, then you're starting training camp, go out the band, before you know it, you got the season. And so it's a lot on the body, definitely. Football workouts are very intense workouts, but they get you in shape. Don't get me wrong. And I'm so thankful for playing football, because it made me a very disciplined individual. It made me, be disciplined in regards to my health, my working out and different things. So, it's a regime, it's a system. It takes a lot out of your body. And so if you are going straight from the spring to, workouts and then draft workouts, individual workouts, after you're drafted, then those team workouts, Justin Fields, he got to get accustomed probably to his receivers, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot. And then you're in training camp, and training camp ain't no joke. Anybody that play football, they know summer camp is where champs are made. It's where your season's made. You're doing 2-a-day workouts. You're getting up at 5 a.m, starting practice 6, you ending at around 9 or 10. Then you taking a nap or go off the bam, eating lunch, maybe get your hour and a half in, and before you know it, you're back out on the field for another 3-4 hours. So, it takes a lot out of your body. So I can see the parents' point here. It's a very, very tough decision. It really is, because I would love to see them all play simultaneously. I would love to just see them play in general, but it's a real pandemic out here. It really is. And so I just don't understand, Jamar, why these universities just won't put the players in bubbles. Like, we talked about this bubble format with Bill a few weeks ago.
Right.
You see NFL teams now doing it. But, money and all that plays a factor. But these universities have money. They do. But a lot of them are just very cheap. They treat their athletes like slaves. They really do. And they don't pay them nothing. These kids bust their tails, work their butts off. And universities, so they are afraid to spend money on things such as the bubble or putting them in a hotel or keeping them just specifically on campus and having things in place to control. And I think, it sounds crazy like, yeah, it's possible we can't control young adults and different things. But if these universities took their students online like UNC Chapel Hill did, they just got a raw dish of reality, right? Purdue University just got a raw dish of reality. And you still got a lot of universities now, bro. They are all coming back. They're sending their kids back off. And the kids are going back off to school. And I bet you they're going to be heading back in another month. I don't just, and these universities, they're still, Jamar, willing to take these chances for money purposes. They're still willing to take the chance to have money for their towns, for their economies, for their bars, for their stores. They're scrapped when those students aren't there. And they make their money when all those students are on the campus. Kroger, as an example. Kroger makes money, don't get me wrong. But they make money when the universities are, up to par and all the kids are coming there, the grocery shop, blah, blah, blah. All that plays a role in all those towns, And so you're like, all right, it's a very serious thing in regards to economics with this thing. And so if the presidents of the universities aren't happy, if the parents, they're complaining, all these other things, you just get a lot of drama that's going to continue to unfold until, I'll say the next few weeks. But I don't know. I think the Big Ten, they should stand their ground here. If they made their decision, let's stick with it. Yeah. I would love to see all 5 conferences play simultaneously. Or I would just love to see, and when I say stick to this decision, Jamar, I'm talking about the 2 conferences, not the 5. But I do need consistency to say, hey, either we're all going to do it or we're all not going to do it.
Exactly.
That's what I would love to see. I would need to see that. I can't see 3-on-2, 2-on-3. We need some type of consistency there. And upon that, then I'll be comfortable to say, all right, now I understand where you're coming from. But right now, I do not understand what is going on. I don't understand their stance here. It's a bit confusing.
Agreed. I blame the lack of leadership.
Yeah,
by far.
Yeah. This is definitely a lack of leadership, and this is an issue from the lack of leadership. So hopefully they make a decision very soon and they stick with it like R. Kelly. I'm sticking with it. And so, all right, with that being said, let's move on to the NFL. So Jason Wright, I don't know if you know, Jamar, but Jason Wright, this brother played football at Northwestern.
Did not know that.
Yes, he played football at Northwestern. He's a student at Northwestern in the early 2000s. This was not long ago. I would say he was there around 2004. And so the newly appointed president, of course, of the Washington football team, let me get it right, the Washington football team,
there you go,
formerly known as the Washington Redskins. He has now been appointed to team president and has made history as being the first African-American president in NFL history. And so do you think that this is progression and that the NFL, they're possibly beginning to, head in the right direction to get things right in regards to finally bringing a brother in a position of power?
Absolutely, by default it is. Now, just want to just bring it back a little bit. Had it not been for Daniel Snyder being a terrible owner that he is, certain situations wouldn't have occurred and wouldn't have led to this. Like, Daniel Snyder is a great businessman, but is a terrible owner. I know he'll probably never sell the team. He should, but he won't. But
Right.
as far as this, I was like shocked when I first saw this. Like, I like stopped what I was doing and just paying attention. Like out of all teams, the Washington football team,
Right.
hired a black man as your team president. I'm not even like the fact that it's the first one in NFL history, just the fact that that franchise did it. Because that franchise has been under turmoil and a bunch of like interesting issues and situations over the years. But as far as just going back to Jason Wright himself, like, I mean, just based on the like credentials that I've read, I can't remember all of them, but he definitely seemed like the right man for the job. Especially in this day and age, I mean, for him to be the first African American president, that's huge.
Yeah.
In a league that has maybe one or two black general managers, maybe less than 5 head coaches right now currently.
What you got? Miami,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Chargers.
Chargers.
LA.
Yep.
And I think that's it, right?
I think so. It might be one more that we're forgetting, but it's
it might be one more that was added this summer or this past year, in regards to black head coaches. But that's it. I think it's 3, bro. I really think it's 3, and that is out of 32 head coaches.
That's a shame, because like the NFL is 75-80% African American, and basically the number of African Americans in that head and management and front office positions are like 0 to none.
Yep.
Yeah. So this here is a big step in that direction. So I'm just the trend continues. I hope this is not just a one-stop shop type situation just because the Washington football team is just that bad at, diversity in what they do. I just hope it, trickles down to other teams down the line.
Right. And so for me, I love the hire. I love the fact that they did bring on Jason Wright. I think he is a very solid hire, a great hire for this team, especially since he's a Northwestern guy. They know he's smart. They know he's bright. They know he'll make very, very bright decisions, very smart decisions. He's been put through the rigor of one of the top schools in the world. So that right there is a very, important fact. His resume, his past resume with, the NFL, he's been in the NFL for a number of years and he's had success. And so my thing is that I believe there's a number of Jason Wrights out there. There's a number of other Jason Wrights out there who often are not given opportunities or who are blackballed because of their skin. And so, NFL, let's continue to get this together, because although there is one hire in the midst of all this going on, we're not going to get overly excited and say, oh, yeah, kumbaya. No, we're not. We need more hires because there's more qualified individuals out there that will deliver championships. And so, people didn't believe in Mike Tomlin when he came. He delivered a championship his first or second season. First season had a first round bye and went to the AFC Championship. And he's been delivering all through his time. Anthony Lynn, scary Chargers team in the playoffs a couple of years back. Lovie Smith. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And of course, we know often the best players in the NFL are African American, especially when it comes to any position outside the quarterback. But we've had a lot of great quarterbacks as well and Super Bowl winners. And so, Jason Wright, I love the hire. I am very surprised, however, that it was the Redskins, being that the Snyders appeared to be racist to me at times. They, just appeared to be a family that kind of reminds me of those guys in Dallas. And, you can't tell me Jerry Jones isn't racist, especially appearing off of how he's doing this kid, Dak Prescott. He just has a lot of biases. He's an older man. And so Daniel Snyder, he's got a lot of his dad in him, the Redskins owner. But I think with the new generation of things, he's kind of Jamar opening himself up finally. And we talk about a bubble, but a lot of white folks live in a bubble. I guess we do too sometimes.
Yeah.
And, there's biases based off of those bubbles. And so I think he always thought that Black individuals probably weren't competent and things in that nature. But I'm very proud to see that he made that decision. And shout out to Doug Williams, because Doug Williams had a big part in this decision. The former Super Bowl winner for the Washington Redskins, which was a Black quarterback that brought them one of their few Super Bowls. And
True.
So, and had a great run with them, a lot of playoff success. And so, is he a Hall of Famer, by the way?
I don't think so. I'll fact check that for you really quick.
Yeah. But, Doug Williams definitely, I know he had his jersey retired for the Redskins at least. And so, he had a big decision in regards to this hire for Jason Wright, because he serves on the executive board to where I believe Doug Williams, I forgot his position, but I think he does some type of recruiting for the team, Jamar. And so maybe you can find it out for me.
But, so, he's the senior vice president of player development there.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so
no Hall of Famer though. Right.
Okay. And so with that being said, he plays a big role in that organization. And so, shouts out to Doug Williams for getting this kid in, and hopefully other teams will follow suit and, go from there. And so very good hire. It's progression, but we want more progression. And so, and with that being said, let's talk about the NBA, man.
Let's go.
This playoffs has been entertaining thus far. And so let's start with this Clippers and Mavs series. What do you think thus far of the Mavs and just their grit? What are they trying to say to the league right now? And what are they trying to say to the Clippers? And what are they trying to let us know about their future? What are the Mavs?
Man, it's like what they're saying right now is like, we're not backing down from whoever. Like, we have a dog in Luka Doncic, and we're going to ride this wave. We playing with house money right now. Because everybody is writing them off, including myself. I thought it would be a clean sweep because I know they don't play any defense, really, in general. But the way that this series is going, it could have been 2-1 right now in their favor. I know the game one, the bogus ejection from Porzingis. I mean, bogus. I know I'm going for the Clippers, but I mean that's bogus. That whole basically just gave them the game. Game two, they just routed them. And then last night, like, Mavs was hanging around till Luka got hurt, and then at that point, Kawhi and the Clips smelled blood and just ran away with it. But no, that team's not backing down. As a pure basketball fan, I'm loving it. It gets a little chippy, a little heated exchanges. Hero said some things I probably won't repeat on this podcast about what he said to Luka.
All right. You can read through the TV what he said.
Yeah.
My wife was looking and she like, why would he say that? I'm like, oh, man.
That's the urban mentality in him right there. I don't know.
That's that urban mentality, and he started taking them to the basket, too, to prove his words.
He did, man. I feel
Try
like
to,
a couple of times he went out his way to give him some physical contact. But
yep.
hey,
Mm-hmm.
that's the basketball that I'm accustomed to growing up. So I mean,
Right.
and I applaud Luka for not backing down. He's a competitor. But man, I'm loving this series, man. At this point, I don't care who wins. I just want to see some more entertaining basketball.
Right. And so, yeah, man, this is a very entertaining series. It's been the most entertaining series out of all the series thus far. I have definitely had my eyes on this series, especially after just the second half of game one, in which I saw the Mavericks being up, and I'm like, okay, they trying to send a little message here. But then when they sent the message in game two, because everybody know that they were up 81-76, third quarter going into the fourth with, Porzingis obviously I think just taking up for his, superstar, which any person to
As he
do.
should.
They'll take up for their superstar. But even the first technical foul in which, he blocked the shot of, I believe it might have been Lou Williams. Like, for me, that really wasn't a bad block. It wasn't a foul, even if you ask me. I don't think that was a foul. I think it was a good, clean block. And so that was a bogus just scenario with both of those calls. So I don't think he should have been ejected.
No.
But anywho, this series has been chippy. The Mavericks and the Clippers have been talking trash back and forth to each other. They've, even the bench guys for the Mavs, man, they've been stepping up all series.
Big time.
You see Steph Curry. And by the way, bro, I never knew that Seth Curry was married to Doc Rivers' daughter. I never knew that. Bro. So they're family.
Yeah.
I wonder what those dinners are like. Like, wow, I never knew that. And people always say, yeah, Doc Rivers got a pretty daughter. I'm like, okay, I never seen her. But obviously, I went to Google last night, and so they are definitely married. Wow, it's unbelievable, man. How small circles can be sometimes. And so
True.
the Rivers Curry family. And so Seth Curry balled out last night. Seth Curry balled out. Tim Hardaway Jr. had a pretty good game, and Trey Burke has been lighting it up. And so they benched for the Mavs. They kept them in that game pretty much all the way into the end. Only thing is nobody could stop Kawhi. And so he showed why he's the superstar. He showed why he's arguably the best player in the world. And so he imposed his will. People were expecting Paul George to impose his will last night because of the first two games they claim he's been having. If you ask me, he had a great first game. He had 29 points. Yeah, not so bad. He has missed a lot of shots and different things and all that. He hasn't been the occasional Paul George. But that's what this team was built for. This team was built for depth, which they have it. This team was built for saying, okay, if this person's having a bad night, we can rely on this person. And unfortunately, Kawhi Leonard ain't going to have a bad night. He won't have it. Only way he'll have a bad night, it has to be against LeBron. That's probably the one person that can stick Kawhi Leonard, and LeBron can barely stick him. Nobody can stick Kawhi outside of him, and maybe even KD. But other than that, Kawhi's going to get his buckets regardless, and he has no brain. He has no conscience. He'll pull it up right in your face, and he will embarrass you. He'll move you around, push you around, bump you, out physical, like just muscle you around, and he'll show it. And he did it all to this poor guy Kleber, who, I think he thinks he's a great defender, but he doesn't have a chance against him.
No.
So yeah, the superstar showed up, and that's what superstars do. They show up in big moments, and so that's the reason why I'm riding with the Clippers. But I tell you what, Game 4 will be interesting, bro. It depends if Luka can come back and be healthy. If he can come back and be healthy, I would bet that this would be a 2-2 series. And the reason why I would back that is because of people talk about the depth of the Clippers. It looks like to me, y'all, the Mavericks got some depth too.
They do. And yeah, I would say if Luka is actually healthy, I could definitely see this being 2-2 at the end of game 4.
Mm-hmm.
But really quick, just to circle back to Paul George, like, yeah, game 1, he had a great game. Last 2 games, I don't know where this man's been. I just feel like ever since he created playoff P, I don't know, man. He might need to cancel that one, but going forward, man, because that playoff P is hot trash overall. But no, he if they get past the series, they're gonna need him down the line though to actually
for
be
sure.
how he was when he first got to the bubble. So
right, and as stated for me, Jamar, I don't think he has to have a great series in order for them to win this series.
oh no,
they're gonna win the series regardless because of Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard, think about it. He's carried a Toronto Raptors team. I mean, he had a second wheel in Siakam and Van Vliet. Shout out to Van Vliet, another Chicago cat. Balling, right? Like, that just come from that pedigree. And so Kawhi Leonard, he comes from that pedigree. That's all I can say. And so, like, he's not afraid of anybody, any moment. And when the moment gets super to where you really need something, he will deliver. Most guys, they get rattled against guys with energy, this and that. A lot of great defense. Kawhi, don't faze him at all.
It feel like he's straight out the Mamba Academy, man. That's what it feels like.
Straight out the MJ Mamba Academy.
And I know he was at Kobe's camp a few times, so I mean, it makes sense.
Right, like he ain't fearing none of that.
Mm-hmm.
The more you do that, the more you're gonna suffer, pretty much. And so you got to be very careful with how you treat great players. And so Luka, he quietly again had a triple-double. Like, it was quiet as hell, but it was like, okay. And so he, if he would have played, he would have got his points as well. But I think the Mavericks right now, they are hungry, they are young. They'll make it an interesting series, but in order for them to win, I don't think they can win. Unless the Clippers miss shots and Kawhi miss shots. If Kawhi don't miss shots, the Clippers will win. But if he miss shots, Shamar, bro, the Mavericks ain't gonna miss their shots that much. And those guys I mentioned, they ain't gonna miss their shots too much. If Kawhi missed shots, this could go really deep this series. But if Kawhi's the superstar, which he know in this series, Jamar, he know it. He like, I got to take this over. Because if I don't take this over and if I don't be a dog, we won't beat them.
Yeah, and it would be a bad look on that whole, like, all those players, their legacy. Well, maybe not so much Kawhi, but probably the rest of – I mean, it'd just be a bad look if they get bounced in the first round to Dallas. That's a bad
Right. It would shake up the entire playoffs. It would. And so, entertaining series. And so, all right, let's move on to another series. Tonight, we got a critical game 3, bro, between the Lakers and Blazers. And so, just curious, what do you think of this series thus far and who you got for the series?
Man, like, this is another one that's up there as far as entertainment purposes. I know game 2 wasn't Lakers basically, got their stuff together and came out. But, no, I mean, Lakers came out, made adjustments game 2. And I did pose the question on Facebook the other day, like, what adjustments is Portland going to make? Because if they can't make, like, critical adjustments at this point, I mean, the Lakers probably just, walk away with this series. Because it looked like Lakers kind of, I guess, figured out what they should do. And probably that plus the combination of Portland missing a lot of shots led to that early blowout. Portland got to make shots. I know Dame is playing game 3 with a dislocated finger. I think they said they're going to put in a splint or something like that. I don't know how that's going to affect his shot or not. I'm not even. Is that on his right hand? I don't know.
Yeah, his right. Yeah. Actually, his left hand, bro. His
His
left.
left. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I mean, if Portland makes shots and make adjustments, this series can at least go 6. I had the Lakers in 7 initially, just because I know Portland has the pieces to give them a fight. But it felt like the Lakers, wanted it a lot more. They would crash the boards. KCP showed up, hit some shots.
That's all it really takes for the Lakers. And I'm sorry, but KCP, he is so hot garbage to me. He's really overrated. I don't see how he's even really in an NBA uniform. I'm sorry.
I mean,
But
I think he was a lottery pick too, which is a bust to me. Big bust.
yeah, he sucks. I'm sorry, he sucks. But KCP, he makes roster somehow. He's been with the Lakers. They love him, I guess. But yeah. I know you're in the middle of your response, bro. So go ahead. My bad.
Oh, I mean, it kept going. But yeah, he showed up. I don't know when Danny Green gonna show up, but
right.
But they did. I did see who's that? Dion and JR on the court.
Yeah,
played some decent basketball for the most part. So I mean, Lakers, expanded their bench there. I guess Portland just gotta play better. Go ahead.
Right. For Portland, they have to make their shots. But one thing that was scary that I saw, it looked like to me a team that was in a playoff mode that's been playing a lot of critical games lately. And sometimes, Shamar, I think our legs just burn out on us, especially in this case of a 2-day bubble where you're playing every 2 days. And Portland's been playing pretty much playoff basketball every 2 days for quite some time now, for the last few weeks. Pretty much almost a month of straight. We can't lose basketball. And so some nights, it will be like, a few nights ago or, a couple nights ago. I don't think they're tired. They just look tired from the Lakers defense. Lakers can't shoot a lick, but they can play some defense. That's why Kentavious Caldwell-Pope gets a job, because he can play defense. And so if he could balance that out with making a couple three-pointers, Danny Green balanced that out with making a couple shots. I mean, they'd be up 2-0 in this series. And, we'd be talking a completely different thing right now. But in order for them to win that series, they will have to make shots. Additionally, I do like the idea of the Lakers expanding their bench. I've been saying if Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, weak butt, can't hit a jumper, and Alex Caruso can't hit a three-pointer because they be bricking it up, him and Caruso, put J.R. Smith in. Just let him shoot some dumb shots. He'll hit at least 5 of them if he shoots 10. Maybe he'll hit 3.
Way.
That's the JR way. But he defends low-key too. And so he gets that defending from playing against the Warriors for so many years. He knows how to jump off ball screens and get in front of a Damian Lillard. You got to throw bodies at Damian Lillard. You got to get physical with him. And so the more guards I think you throw at him, J.R. Smith, throw a Dion Waiters at him, throw Alex Caruso. He got good energy on defense. Throw a KCP at him. Throw all them bodies at him. And then ultimately throw AD at him. You can put LeBron on him too. You can throw bodies and bodies at him. And I would live with letting Carmelo shoot. I would live with letting and don't get me wrong, those guys are great. But I don't want to let Lillard just get off. No, because that's when they win. Game time, that's when they win. It's something about him getting off, and they demoralize you upon that. And so you got to throw bodies like superstars. Like they throw bodies at LeBron. The Clippers are built to throw bodies at LeBron. In this case, you got bodies you can throw at Dame Lillard. And so LeBron, one thing about him, and I think we know this, Shamar, is he's very good at figuring teams out. He'll, appear to be all down and out, and people are like, well, where's LeBron? I'm upset. But once he figures you out, he pretty much figures you out. And he shuts you down after that.
Yep.
And so I say really good luck to the Blazers. I am expecting a great game 3 tonight. Maybe I'll be wrong in regards to this pick, but I'll pick the Lakers to, again, kind of repeat what they did a couple nights ago, just because LeBron figures people out. He figures the best opponents. He figures the best out. He figures them out. And that's when his athleticism and different things show up. Another thing is LeBron will have to put the ball in the bucket. If the Blazers are hitting shots and LeBron's not hitting shots, although I know it wasn't much of a demand for him to hit shots in game 2 because he didn't play much of the fourth quarter. He didn't play at all in the fourth quarter and then played about half of the third quarter. The game was over after Damian Lillard got his finger hurt. They shut it down after that. So that's the reason why he had 10 points. But, that was an obvious reason for that. And so, just a second, Jamar, like if LeBron can get those buckets, he has to be aggressive, him and AD. But more importantly, AD, if AD can be the unicorn, block shots, defend Damian Lillard, get that, he's arguably the defensive player of the year. Him, Ben Simmons, and Antetokounmpo, for me, are the best 3 defenders in the NBA. And you notice they're all long. They all got great length, all 3 of them. And so, if you can put AD out there with that length to get out there against Dame Lillard in those moments where he want to shoot from the parking lot, and he's not really going to get around AD because his arms are too long. So you kind of make those adjustments. Then you can kind of show why the Blazers had the record they had this year. It's a reason why they had that record. Simple as that. And so, teams get hot, but the way to fizzle a team is by hitting them in their weak spots. And so maybe the Lakers have figured out a weak spot. It will be an entertaining game 3, but I would, if I had to pick tonight, I would pick the Lakers because I feel that LeBron figures teams out. He makes adjustments. I think their head coach is a great head coach. And he figured teams out as well. And with this adjustment and making AD get out there and stick Dame time, I think kills the Blazers in regards to them getting their runs off. So this is where I stand. And hopefully his finger's better, because if his finger is bad, Jamar, they don't have much of a chance. It's a wrap.
And I'd be disappointed because it's like I want to see, a great series. I do.
Right.
But just really quick. So I feel like Anthony Davis will have to be the one to keep up his aggression because he got physical in game 2.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's really, not his, I guess, what he's known for. But, I mean, he was just basically at will going through the bigs of Portland. And then, LeBron only scoring 10 points, but that's because you got 10 points out of McGee. KCP dropped 16 points. That's a plus 15 difference. JR gave you 11. Dwight gave you 9. Kuzma gave you 7. So you had contribution all over the board.
Mm-hmm.
As far as a pick tonight, I'm gonna side with you on this one. The Lakers is not like they're the series split 1-1 and they're flying back to Portland. No, they don't have that crowd edge, that whole energy. This is bubble basketball, and I'm loving it.
Period.
Yeah, so I once again agree with you about LeBron. Once he figure you out, like you're gonna have to do something, and that's why I emphasized at the beginning, like what adjustments are you gonna make? Because if you don't make an adjustment, or if you don't execute the adjustment you're trying to make, game 3 is probably gonna end up the same as game 2.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got the Lakers.
Yep. All right, and so the reason why where we say adjustments is LeBron in 2016 he figured out the Warriors, and the Warriors knew he figured them out. They knew they were not going to beat him anymore. They had to go get Kevin Durant. They had to, because without him or without a superstar, like, they were not going to beat LeBron. Period. Even I was saying it had to have been the upper echelon. It had to have been KD or Kawhi. It couldn't even been Paul George. He wouldn't have been enough to beat LeBron. I kid you not, he wouldn't have been enough. But they had to go get a KD or a Kawhi, and they obviously got a KD. That's how deep it was, and that's how smart intellectually LeBron is in regards to figuring teams out. He's like a baby. He's like playing with babies out there. It's like playing chess. It is. And so he can impose his will anytime. It's just whenever he wants to do it. That's it. If LeBron want to score 40, he can do it if he want to. He just chooses not to. But if he wants to, he can do it. And so he affects the game in so many different ways. And so, yeah. All right. The Lakers-Blazers. Great series thus far, at least in regards to game one. Game two was a blowout, but game three, I know Dame Time and those guys, they will be putting it down. And so I want to say one last thing before we move on from that. Mm-hmm. My brother stated that that Dame Time tonight is trying to drop 60. Like he's trying to go crazy tonight. And so if he and every basketball fan knows Dame Time finna come out and he finna try to light it up.
Yeah.
And so hopefully the Lakers are ready for that. They're ready for that clapback that's about to happen. Because he will come clapping back tonight. And so
no doubt about it.
You know, hopefully the Lakers are ready for that clapback. And so we'll see. We'll see. It'll be entertaining. So yeah.
Indeed.
Yes, good stuff. So all right. Let's now move on, Jamar, to the city of brotherly love, the Philadelphia 76ers. They put up a fight last night. They battled. They, made things very interesting, had a tough game. They were up, a few minutes left. Joel Embiid was getting to the free throw line. However, for some reason, when they started doubling him in the last 2 minutes, he turned the ball over twice critically, and it led to open buckets for the Celtics. And so right now, the Celtics, they're pretty much feasting on a tired, mentally drained, beat up team that's ready to head home at this point to their wives and families. They ain't winning no championship in Philly this season. So just curious. And actually, it's perfect for the Celtics because they will need their rest as they head into the semifinals against the Raptors, who are about to sweep the Nets. So, and what fun will we have, bro, when we talk about that Toronto and Celtics series? Ooh. What fun will that be? I said this to you. Last week, I said that the Eastern Conference playoffs ain't really getting started to the second round. For the West, it's a gauntlet all the way around. Yep. But for the East, the gauntlet start in the second round. I expect Milwaukee to eventually now. I feel like, they figured out Orlando. Orlando will have a clapback as well. And we'll talk about the Bucks shortly. Let me not get too deep into that. Let's stay on the Sixers. And, Philly, they got heart, man. The Rocky, the Philly, the Meek Mill, that all came out yesterday with the Sixers. The toughness, they came out fighting. But it just wasn't enough for the talent of the Celtics, who, effortlessly with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just make buckets, and Kemba being an assassin, hitting them late shots yesterday, great shots to close out that game. So just curious, Jamar, with the head coach, Brett Brown, a lot of people have been calling for his job. Stephen A. Smith, many, many others.
Yeah.
He's, led them out of the process, led them into being a elite NBA team, a perennial Eastern Conference contender. But these people feel like they can't get over the hump with Brett Brown as the head coach. Do you think that this is the last season for Brett Brown as the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers? And then additionally, man, do you think that it's time to break things up in Philly in regards to their core?
Yeah, so, all right, so here's the thing. Joel Embiid, Brett Brown, Ben Simmons, all three are not surviving after this. That's
okay.
maybe 2 out the 3, maybe 1 out of 3, but all 3 are not like
Somebody got to go, right?
Yeah, we're not bringing the band back together. It's not happening, man.
All right. All right.
It's like I kind of feel bad for Embiid right now to a certain degree, because I heard his post-game press conference real quick, and he was basically like, I don't want to get swept. It's like, I've been playing my butt off here. I feel like it's just not enough right now. Once Ben Simmons went down, I mean, the writing was on the wall with their playoff hopes. Had Ben Simmons was healthy, I mean, it'd probably be a way different story right now. It'd be a dog fight all the way around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
They probably would beat the Celtics, man, if Ben Simmons was healthy.
It's a strong possibility, because he is like, I mean, Joel Embiid is the best player on that team, but like I feel like Simmons, like the way it's constructed, is probably the most important player on that team.
Yep.
And
not to mention he defends.
Right. That's the thing. Like, I can care less about a jump shot right now. It's like he played both ends. He caused havoc on both ends.
Definitely.
He makes his teammates better all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to get into that trade rumor later on. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah. So I was listening to First Take maybe a couple of days ago. Who was it? I know Stephen A. was basically blaming Brett Brown, which I agree with. Max Kellerman was blaming Embiid for not handling the double team, which, I mean, yeah.
Again, last night he did not handle that double team when they hit him.
No, because it's like when I think of the bigs that handle the double team the best, my first thought was Shaq. Because for whatever reason, like Shaq will either dominate you or he'll find the open shooter always. He is like, there's no, like, he doesn't feel pressured or, out of rhythm when that happens. Like Embiid, he definitely, I feel like sometimes he shrinks and gets nervous or something happens. Like, I don't know. It's mental, because when he enforces his will, he is the best player in this series if he wanted to be.
Right.
By far, head and shoulders. And yeah, it's just not enough. Richardson, he's been playing fine. Harris, he's been playing fine. Al Horford, get his bum self off this team, because it does not work. It does not fit. Mm-hmm. On paper last summer, I'm sitting here like, man, they look stacked. Playing the whole system, it's not working. And so, no, the Celtics, they smell blood since day one. They just getting the job done, getting their rest in, because it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Yeah. I think Brett Brown's probably gone. I think Ben Simmons probably gone too. And I think it's just going to be Embiid, and it's going to be a whole different team. Maybe Harris still there, but outside of that, I think that whole structure is done.
I don't know, man. I think you got a lot of bright pieces in Philly. I like those 2 guards for Philly. And give me a second. Can you do me a favor? Can you pull up the Sixers roster? Because I want to go through a few guys.
I got it up already.
Okay, can you read off to me?
All right, we got Harris, Horford, Embiid, Richardson, Milton, Burks.
Okay, let's stop there.
All right.
So Burks and Milton, I like those 2 cats. They got heart. Burks constantly taking it to the rack against the Celtics. Milton, he can hoop, bro. He put up like 50-something, I think, this season.
I think you're right.
Or it might have been Burke. No, I think it was Milton. And Milton got on a hot streak, if you remember. He was getting a lot of points for the Sixers this season. Milton, he can hoop. Burks got heart. He can hoop. You still got Ben Simmons. I think Tobias Harris might be a little overrated at this point. That might be somebody you can get rid of with that big contract. But that's hard with his height, with his length. That's hard. It's a lot of bright pieces with the Sixers, man. You still would have Embiid. You still would have Simmons. Josh Richardson hooping. A lot of people forget, man, he had a lot of success in Miami and is a great defender. broken hoop. If you ask me, Embiid's been showing up, but Richardson has been showing up too. A lot of people ain't paying attention to Richardson. He can ball. You got depth at that guard position, man, with the Sixers. With Ben Simmons, who could play a 3, he could play a 4, he could play a 1, he could play a 2. But then you got Burks, you got Milton. Those guys gonna get buckets. They got heart. They scrap. They remind you of Philly. Period. You got Ben Simmons and Embiid superstars. Embiid always gonna get to the free throw line. Always gonna slow the game down. Always gonna make sure the game is easy. Al Horford, yeah, he might be a weak spot, but I feel like he still can have a place on that roster from his veteran leadership, from the fact that he can get hot against certain teams, especially against bad teams. He can get a lot of good buckets, a lot of good points. Yeah, he got dropped yesterday against Kemba Walker, and his age showed up. But maybe he can have a diminished role on that team. Maybe you go out and you get you a nice power forward or something that could work with the Sixers, or you get somebody that can stretch the floor a little bit more.
Let me ask you this though, really quick. As far as Horford, like you bring him in to solidify your team as part of the core, but it's like he's definitely underachieved with that big contract. So like, what do you do?
Right, he definitely underachieved. I say you keep that contract. I say, even though he underachieved, maybe that's from the role of the head coach Brett Brown.
True.
I don't just want to question him, but I will question Brett Brown. They were actually screaming at each other yesterday. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
After Al Horford got a foul, Brett Brown said something to Al Horford, and he kind of snapped on him. He kind of jawed at him. And this was in the fourth quarter in the midst of a tight battle. So I don't know if there's a great relationship there. But Al Horford, man, he's a perennial all-star. Very solid career, great ball player, man. Been in the league since Dawn's day. But he still can play. He still can stretch the floor a little bit, at least from the mid-range game. You could find a spot for him, but you got to pick up somebody for a cheaper price that will scratch the floor at that position. That's what the Sixers, I think, are missing. They missed the guy who went to the Bucks. I can't remember his name.
Ilyasova.
Yes. They missed Ilyasova so bad. Somebody that can scratch the floor and hit that 3 and that can defend big men. Sixers need that. I think their problem is Brett Brown. I really do. And if they can go ahead and they can get their roster together in regards to a new head coach, which I like the guy Udoka from the Spurs that's been on that staff, or possibly a younger head coach that can relate to that younger roster, but ain't finna bull crap around with them and let them know, like, hey, Embiid, you got to put in some work, dude, because he looked out of shape again yesterday. Put those things into his perspective, man. The Sixers could be very, very good, and they can really crash the party, and they can overcome the Celtics. They can overcome the Heat. They can overcome the Bucks. If they had the right head coach, they could be right there with the Bucks. All seriousness, man, no games. They are up next if they get the right head coach in Philly. Real talk. So with that, yeah, man, that's my take on the Sixers. I think they're right there. They just need the right head coach. All right. So right now, bro, the Rockets, they are looking dangerous. The small ball appears to be working, at least in this series. And I actually thought this would be a long series. And I went out on a limb on this one. And I actually picked the Thunder for an upset. But I appear to be very wrong on this one. But do you think that the Rockets can crash this party and go on a run to the Western Conference Finals and, like, break this whole thing up?
They can. And I'm not, like, saying it because, I'm not a Lakers fan or anything like that. I'm not saying it because of that, but their style of play, it's different. It's against the grain. It's
against tradition.
It is. And the small ball, even before the bubble, was like causing teams problems. Like, whatever reason, PJ Tucker, like he's scrappy. And I was having this conversation the other day with a couple of guys, like, so you have Covington in there, you got PJ Tucker, and it's somebody else that's basically playing the 4 and the 5, like going against,
Jeff Green.
yeah, Jeff Green, and it's like they are so scrappy and physical with these bigs that it's like you would think like AD or Steven Adams or Nurkic, they should be dominating these guys. Like every time they get the ball down, they should be, but it's like the tenacity, like the Rockets are playing great like defense inside and in clutch moments. They're not known for that. That's probably been the biggest difference in order for like to make this lineup work. It's like their defense in key situations. For whatever reason, like they're hitting shots. That's the one thing they have to do, and they've been doing it. Austin Rivers been playing out of his mind. It's like he's going from the narrative of Doc's son to an actual NBA like solid bench 6-man type player right now. Like he's changing the narrative of his career right now. What was that? Daniel House, he out there. I think percentage-wise, their best 3-point shooters shooting like 44%. James Harden is a walking bucket. I mean, that goes without being said.
Don't forget that Eric Gordon is back.
Playing real solid.
Big that Eric Gordon is back. A lot of people don't. That boy can ball.
And the crazy thing is when they first signed him, I'm sitting here like, Eric Gordon, you're a starter in this league when they first signed him, and you wanted to take a bench role it's paying dividends. Like it works. It works. I mentioned Covington, like he was a great pickup for that team. PJ Tucker,
Chicago cat.
Yes, PJ Tucker knows his role. You got guys that I feel like they all buying in. I even seen James Harden on the bench, like cheering for his teammates. You never see that from James Harden. James Harden usually in his own world, doing his own thing, worried about himself, and he's out here like supporting it, the camaraderie, the glue. Like this team will give problems, and I've seen them play against the Lakers a couple of times, and they give them problems too. So, I mean, presumably we're gonna expect the Lakers to play the Rockets in the next round. I mean, see, the thing is, the Rockets hit shots, and I think they defend the 3-ball not that bad either. So, I mean. It's possible that they can crash the party here. That's
absolutely. Yeah, and so I like the Rockets in regards to being everything you stated. And yes, it's very well possible. The Lakers they're in a gauntlet. It ain't gonna be no nights off, man. It ain't gonna be no nights off.
Hey, I will say this really quick. If the Lakers win this championship by going through the Blazers, the Rockets, the Clippers, and like the Bucks or Celtics, you won't hear a peep from me ever again.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll be right in regards to my pick. But with that being said, like the Rockets can absolutely crash the party. Let's not forget Russell Westbrook is not even playing.
Exactly. He getting key rest right now.
Right, but let me ask you this, man, because Russell Westbrook, I feel like sometimes he slows teams down. And I feel like he slows them down with his crazy shots he shoot, unorthodox shots. At times he's pushing fast and the team's not even with him because he's so fast. And he's shooting a brick and it leads to transition for the 3 for another team. But, I mean, then again, Westbrook in the playoffs he's generally a different breed. He steps it up. So,
man, real quick for him, it's like really, like he's been playing. I feel like even right before the bubble and before the end of the regular season, before the bubble, like they've been playing well. But like, I feel like he's definitely playing the role that they need him to play. Like he's been attacking the basket. He hasn't been settling for them shots like he beginning of the year and last year. He's been attacking the basket. If it ain't there, he is finding open teammates. Like they're buying in,
right?
And he gives that extra gear. So like if he is in transition by himself, I mean, I'll take that because it applies pressure on the other team's transition defense. If the other team can get back, that's easy points right there.
Right. I say this, Jamar. Now, my Lakers, you state they in trouble against the Blazers. They are in trouble against the Blazers. But how about this?
Mhm.
If the Rockets sweep the Thunder, bro, without Russell Westbrook, and he got all his damn rest, and you telling me he got to come back to second round, Lakers. Man, bro.
Man.
Like, you talking about some trouble. You talking about some trouble. That's some real trouble. Like, that's some real trouble. Like, Damian Lillard's the one superstar on that team, but the Rockets got multiple superstars. They got multiple superstars. And that one superstar, we done got rest the whole freaking series. And you telling me they take care of the Thunder, the young baby Thunder in an early series, but then the Lakers go in a deep series. Look, I am a Lakers fan, and right now they are my pick. But I just literally came to a revelation this morning where I got to think like, damn, if this is the case against the Rockets in the second round, ooh, that's some trouble. That's probably more trouble than the Blazers.
Yeah, and that's where Anthony Davis, you're going to need him the most.
Yep.
The most. He has, I feel like right now in this series, he has to average about 30 for them to get by Portland. If they get, if they play the Rockets, got to be close to 35, 40, but also has to get rebounds. He has to play perimeter. Well, he can't play the perimeter, but it stretches him out. So it's like Westbrook got an easy lane to the basket at that point.
He sure do. And if you get him in foul trouble, you just get him or LeBron in foul trouble.
It's a wrap.
What the hell the rest of that team for the Lakers going to do?
Because it's not like you're going to outshoot the Rockets. Good luck.
Right. Max Kellerman, I picked all these years the Rockets to beat the Warriors, right? Like an idiot. Like twice he picked them in the conference finals to beat the Warriors, and of course he was wrong. He was arguably right that year with Chris Paul first year. And they went to Game 7, and the Rockets are up 3-2.
Yeah.
Should have beat that Warriors team.
That was the game they missed like a franchise record of like 27 threes, right?
Yes. They pretty much choked, and they still could have won Game 7 without Chris Paul. Crazy enough, right?
Yeah.
But Max Kellerman, if he was to pick the Rockets, and I know we're a little ahead here, but if the Rockets and Lakers were to play, if Max Kellerman would have picked the Rockets this year, he probably wouldn't be wrong, and I wouldn't blame him, unlike the other years. I'm just saying.
Right.
So a lot of people aren't talking about it yet, but the revelation will come, Jamar, to where if the Rockets can take care of the Thunder early and the Lakers, which they are going to get into a deep battle with the Blazers, and Russell Westbrook still resting, brother.
Because he won't play Game 3 either. So.
Right. We could be talking about an entirely crashed party here. And so the Clippers, on the other hand, we'll see what happens with them and the Jazz and the Nuggets. But the Nuggets right now look really flat. And the Jazz with Mike Conley and his playoff experience, he had 29 points yesterday. They appear to be clicking now. Arguably, what if they would have got Game 1? They'd be up 3-0 right now. So the Clippers, they're not going to have it as easy as people think either. They're not. So because the Jazz got superstars, they got two superstars, and so you're not going to get rid of a team of superstars. Not in the NBA, you won't. It just won't happen. You're going to have to really work for it. So the West is a gauntlet. Let's leave it at that. And so with that, I got another question, Jamar. So on Facebook, right? From my couple teammates from high school, they be talking basketball and talking trash and stuff. And I wish my Facebook Live was working because I was going to tag these fellas this morning. They were talking about Dame time, and they saying he's not better than Kyrie or Steph. And I picked a bone with that question in regards to one of those individuals. I got to disagree with that statement. I would take Dame time actually over Kyrie any day. For Steph, that's a tough one. But for Kyrie, no. I need to see more from Kyrie. You know, and so with that being said, do you think that Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving are better overall players than Dame Time? Do you think they both are? I want your insight on this because I think that Kyrie being mentioned in just his recent history is blasphemous. But yeah, I need your thoughts on this because yeah, he picked the bone with me on this one.
All right. So if you asked me this question about 4 years ago, I probably would have said yeah. Now I'm 100% with you on this one. Dame is better than Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
I feel like it's not close. Like for starters, it's like let me go with Kyrie. Like so Kyrie, like he's an offensive like magician. Like he can score anywhere. So can
Yeah,
Dame.
man.
So can Dame.
Exactly.
I feel like Dame is more consistent. I feel like Dame plays a little bit better defense. The biggest thing for me, Dame is an actual leader.
Yes, and this is
Leader
what
of
I'm trying
men.
to tell these boys.
That leadership quality, that intangible goes so much further than people will realize. Like the team that's the Portland Trailblazers right now, they would go to war with this man any day of the week. Carmelo even said that's the best teammate that he's ever played with. And I kind of looked down the list to see if he was like, full of it or not. At this point of Dame's career, I think he's right.
Yeah, I agree with that. He
Second best.
Carmelo never really had much.
No, the second best before Dame was probably Iverson at the tail end of his career. That was it.
Or maybe James Harden. But that didn't work. I mean, they played together for like a few games, so I don't even count that.
I don't even count that. No.
Yeah, that was like a few games.
Yeah. So no, I'm definitely taking Dame. Dame, like right now, currently, he's the best point guard in the league at this moment because Steph's not playing right now.
All right.
Not far.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I kind of wish I was part of this discussion. I would have definitely thrown my 2 cents for you.
Right, man.
It is blasphemous.
So, yeah, I agree. It's blasphemous, man. And so, don't get me wrong. I love Kyrie Irving. I think he's a very talented ball player. I love his ball handles. I love his offensive efficiency. But he is not consistent. He often does a lot of ill-advised things. His leadership skills needs to step up in regards to leading troops. He wants to be a leader, but he's not there. And so, like, those just are a few things. There's some other stuff I can say too, but I ain't even going to get deep into the conversation because I don't think it's worth it. So, yes, Kyrie Irving, he is not better than Dame Time. I don't know what crack pipe you're smoking, brother, but he is not better than Dame Time. However, Steph Curry, on the other hand, he,
I'll still take Steph over Dame.
Yeah, Steph Curry, on the other hand, man, Steph Curry, he's that deal. He is that business. And so when Steph Curry's healthy, he's one of the top 3 point guards in the league. And so with that being said, man, Steph Curry, you ain't going to find too many that's better than him. But we will see when Steph Curry comes back. Because Steph Curry has owned Dame Time in his career. He's owned him in his career. I think he's about 10-0 against him in his career.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. But and I'm not reacting just off of a bubble. Dame Time has been doing this. He's been about this life. And so Kyrie, no. Steph, yes. Strong possibility, yes. But even with Steph and his health, it ain't too far off. So, I love you, my brother. I love you, Bill. And possibly we can have you on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. And I want you to defend your position. I want you to defend it with me and Jamar Goodman. And I want you to give us your points and your reasons and your analysis on why you feel Kyrie Irving is better than Damian Lillard. And so we would be very interested in hearing your stance here. You are welcome at any time.
Absolutely.
You are welcome at any time. We love to have you, brother. And so with that being said, yes. Appreciate it. And we'll see you hopefully on the Sports Talk podcast. All right. So that covers the basketball portion of our podcast. But bro, have you seen the Cubs? Right, they look pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You know, Cubs Sox game 2 is tonight, but as I don't know if the world's seen, the Cubs got routed. They got whipped as usual. And so with these next 2 games, I want your picks. You know, Sox Cubs, always a good rivalry. But for me, I'm a loyal South Side at heart. I know my brother Jamar, you are a loyal South Side at heart. And so I love the Cubs. I got a lot of love for them. But I'm going with the Sox actually for a sweep in this series. For me, it just appears that the Sox, they just got the Cubs number. I don't know if you noticed, Jamar, but every time the Cubs and Sox played, the Sox definitely played them tough, and they beat them. They kicked their tails. And so last night, they whooped the Cubs 9-0. And they're supposed to be one of the best teams in baseball. And so with that being said, I want your thoughts and your opinion on the Sox and Cubs series.
Hey, second topic in a row. I'm aligned with you. I feel like the brooms are coming out. I do. It was a home run derby last night. I'm watching. I was watching one of the basketball games, and I just keep getting updates on my phone like home run. Tim Anderson went yard. And then some other people. I'm like, it was like kind of consistent, like back to back. I'm like, this team been this past week. This team has been on fire as far as the bats. I'm loving it, loving every bit of it.
They are hot, man. They are hot.
They are. The pitching has been holding it down. The bats on fire. And frankly, Sox need these games a little bit more than the Cubs right now. So I feel like they definitely gonna have that chip on the shoulder. And I 100% agree with you. Every time these 2 teams play, it don't matter how bad the White Sox are, they always.
No matter how bad they are, no matter how good the Cubs are.
They get up for this crosstown series every single time. Mm-hmm. Even in the summer training right before the season started, they was getting up for that game too, and I was watching it right before the season started. I'm like, I'm excited. So yeah, no, I'm all the way with you, man. This team is on fire. They're just clicking right now, and
they're hot.
Cubs is a good team, but my team is hotter.
Period. All right. Yes, sir. And so I'm riding with you. I got the Sox as well. Possibly the Cubs can pull out a game, but I got the Sox definitely for the series. But I think they'll pull out the brooms, and if they don't pull out the brooms, they still will get the series. And so that's just how the Sox roll. They got the Sox number. We both agreed, in the past that we see that the Sox ship appears to be heading in the right direction. So, yeah, that is very, very interesting there. And so one last question I want to ask you, bro, before we close out today. We got 4 playoff games today. I want your picks in regards to the NBA playoffs. And so we will start out east. We got the Bucks and the Magic. Is there any possibility for a surprise with the Magic pulling off an upset today?
I would be like thoroughly stunned if the Magic win today. I know they're a scrappy team. They play hard. They definitely play hard for their coach. Vucevic is having a ball out there, just killing them. I know Aaron Gordon isn't there, but I would be stunned if they won. I'm all for Bucks right now. I think they definitely figured them out, starting to find their rhythm here. Giannis was he took that game 1 personally, so he came out of game 2. It's like, man, forget all this. I think game 3 is like, we need to send these guys down the street since they live in Orlando already. So get them out the bubble. So yeah, I'm Bucks on this one.
All right, yeah. For me, man, I think the Magic actually. I said that this will be a 6-game series, but it won't be a 6-game series. Not as of today. The Bucks will pull this one out. They got the momentum. They ride, but the Magic will pull out a game in these next 2 games. I'll tell you when, but it won't be today. And I won't, well, actually, in this case, I'll put it out on the podcast. I think the Magic will take a very hard-fought game 4. But as of today, because I don't know, I think that Orlando bubble has an advantage for the Magic. I do, in a weird way. It's just something about being home. You know, it's just, you know, it's just something about being home. And so even though they're in the bubble, I don't know, I guess they're familiar with everything. Something about familiarity, to say the least. So, but as of today, I got the Bucks whooping out on the Magic today. Possibly I'll be wrong about this being a 6-game series. It very likely could be a 5-game series. But I like the fight that the Magic had at the end of game 2. So that left some encouragement to let me know that they can steal another game. Just because the Magic have been playing great in the bubble. And guys, they are not as a bad team as people think. They're not as bad as you think. They're really not. They get some younger pieces. They will be a legit threat in the years to come, because this guy, Vucevic, he is an all-star. He is a baller. And if y'all don't know about him, y'all need to go ahead and hit this guy up on your YouTube. He dropped 30 the other night in his sleep. And so, you know, he definitely is carrying his team. And he's going to show up every single game in the series. So, yeah, I'll ride with you on that one. I got the Bucks. As for the Heat and the Pacers, I thought this would be a deep series. I really did. I thought that the Pacers would fight, and I don't see that right now. And so, yeah. And so with that, like, I think that the Pacers, I think they'll pull out a game today, bro. I think this will probably be a 5-game series. I think the Pacers will pull out a game today, just because it's Saturday. So, you know, we got to somehow, man, being Purdue guys, we got to give something to the Pacers here. And so, you know, that you go to Naptown and different things. That's what you see. The arena right down the street, right in the heart of downtown, you know, so right around from the circle. So I got to ride with the Pacers just for today. And so just your thoughts. I don't know. I don't think you got – I think, you know, you've been on this Heat bandwagon, man. You see they hot right now. So, and plus they got Jimmy Butler back, and that's a lot to deal with. So just your thoughts on game 3.
Yeah, so I think they're smelling blood. I think they are. I feel like the Pacers do not have enough for this Heat train right now.
Sabonis, where are you?
Man, they definitely missing him. Oladipo is not his self. I mean, we're seeing a shell of Oladipo, and that's just because coming back from injuries. Maybe next season he'll be a lot better. Yeah, Miami's rolling in this one. Maybe the Pacers take game 4, but right now it's the heat wave.
It's the heat wave. I like that. It is the heat wave. All right. So let's now get to the Western Conference. And so tonight we got that game 3 with the Rockets and Thunder. The Rockets appear to be clicking on all cylinders, and the Thunder I thought this would be a deep series too, bro. You know, I had the Thunder pulling out an upset here, but it does not look like that'll be the case. The Rockets are just stronger. They just are stronger. And so if I had to pick between the two teams tonight, I would pick the Rockets to take game 3. They're clicking on all cylinders, and the Thunder just appear to be young. They're babies right now. They're going through a growing up process, and they're learning what playoff basketball is really like. And they really don't have much veteran leadership outside of Chris Paul. That's not enough to beat James Harden. It's not. and Mike D'Antoni. So I'll ride with the Rockets tonight. Your thoughts on Game 3?
Yeah, so I watched the fourth quarter of Game 2, and it's like the Thunder basically was giving them their all, and then all of a sudden the Rockets snatched their hearts away.
Yep.
Went on a 10-0 run. They was playing defense in that stretch, like locking them down, hitting shots after shot.
They went on a 19-2 run.
19. I didn't even catch the rest of it.
Yep.
So.
Mm-hmm. And this was when everything was close and everything was
it was a close game.
They just took off.
It was like, 5 minutes left in the game, 6 minutes left. They just snatched their souls from them.
That hurts a young team.
I don't see them recovering. I know Chris Paul could probably recover. I don't see the rest of them recovering. I don't see it. No, James Harden is a man on a mission. I think D'Antoni is too, because I'm pretty sure he's sick of that narrative as well. They probably gonna beat them by 15 today. Yeah, I think it's a wrap.
Yeah, probably beat them up. Yeah, and so lastly, man, the Blazers and Lakers. I think we've already kind of talked about it. As you know, I stated that it'll be a close, tight game tonight, but I think the Lakers, with LeBron figuring things out, I think they'll find a way to, kind of beat up on the Blazers tonight again. And people figure out why they call LeBron who they call him, and why he's one of the greatest players in the world. And so they've made adjustments. I think they'll continue to make further adjustments, and I look for AD to be a monster tonight. Good luck, Blazers, tonight. So I'm gonna roll with the Lakers tonight for Game 3.
Yeah.
Good luck, Blazers. I mean that. Really good luck.
I'm rolling with you. I know it comes down to Portland making adjustments and hitting shots, but I feel like until further notice, once LeBron got you figured out, then it's like you gonna have to do something drastic, and then also on top of that, you got to execute whatever you're doing here. So I know it's gonna take a heroic effort from Dame and whoever else, CJ McCollum.
They're gonna ball out. They're gonna come hard at a certain point in the game.
As they should, just like the Lakers came hard in Game 2, as you thought they would. So you expect a clapback from Portland. But I feel like AD gonna continue to have his way. The Lakers just need to hit enough shots, and this game should be in their hands. So I got the Lakers.
All right. And so, And so with that, brother, let's now get into our Bulls for our last topic for today. And so just want to ask you, Jamar, about the Bulls. And so we got our fourth pick with the lottery. And so we got a couple players, man. We got the kid from and do me a favor, Jamar, pull up the projected top 10 picks from the lottery. I know we got LaMelo Ball. We got James Wiseman. We got the kid from Georgia. We got this other kid from Croatia. Go ahead and, let's talk about your thoughts on how you feel the Bulls or what direction they should go in regards to their team needs and whom they should draft and how they should go about it in this freaking pandemic. In this case, man, you got to go to high school coaches because, these are young guys. These guys only probably played 1 year of college basketball or 1 year of, overseas basketball, a couple years. You don't really got much on these guys, especially in this pandemic. So what direction do you think the Bulls should go, man, with having this fourth pick in the 2020 NBA draft?
All right, so how I see it, there's definitely some talent here, but because I was definitely on Facebook talking about this the other day. For starters, I'm just glad we don't have the seventh pick again. That would have been 4 years in a row. I'm sick and tired of that. All right, so with the fourth pick, I feel like if we're not in the top three, because I feel like if the player is not Wiseman, Edwards, or Ball, I honestly don't want them at this point because I feel like we have a lot of young talent at this point. If I don't have a transcendent talent that's coming in this draft, I need to ship that pick and a player and go get me somebody that's going to help me right now.
Right.
That's how I feel.
It's about time, right? It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time we go ahead and start fighting for that AC.
Seriously, like we thought that they would had a fighting chance entering this year, but that went out the window quickly. But yeah, if we can't get up, because if I get one of those players, I'm happy. Preferably, I want LaMelo Ball. I do.
Yeah, I love to have LaMelo Ball. I love it.
I
I
do.
love that pick.
And then the trade rumor that I saw, that the fact that our president now has been in love with Ben Simmons for multiple years, talking about trading the fourth pick and maybe like Thaddeus Young to acquire him. If that was a real trade package right now, I would take that in a heartbeat. In
Yes.
a heartbeat.
Yeah, Philly, you can restart. You can restart the process, Philly.
Exactly. You can
Yeah,
probably get
man.
somebody that fits your system. On our end, we actually have a two-way player here that can be the focal point as far as leading the offense here. Imagine him on a fast break with Levine, and I can't think of anybody else right now. But just matter of fact, just those two on a break
Wendell,
alone.
I like Wendell Carter as well. I like him on the fast break as well, bro.
That wouldn't be bad.
I like Wendell
have
Carter on that fast break, man. I like a Chris Down on that fast break.
Cody White, pull up.
Yeah, Kobe White. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man.
Denzel Valentine that's open for that three.
I don't even, honestly, with him, I don't even know if he still be on the roster. But if he is, as long as he got that shot going, I'm all for it too. Just
that shot be going, man. He he's been injured for the last year or so, but
that's true. He missed a lot of games in the past 2 years.
Yeah, but remember when he was healthy, he was out there balling, man.
But yeah, that's my take on it. If we can't trade up to get one of those players, trade the pick and a player and get me somebody that's gonna help us right now.
Right. Yes, very good point. This pick puts us in another prime position, whether we know it or not, to get a great draft pick, to possibly, get an immediate impact player. And so it'll be very interesting to see what the Bulls do. I like LaMelo Ball, man. I really do. And I would like that small ball effect. We got enough bigs on the Bulls, I think, that are very good, solid players. So this will be very interesting, man. I would love to see Ben Simmons be in a Bulls uniform. Oh, man, he would set it off. We would immediately become perennial 6, 7, 8 seed contenders in the East if we were to get Ben Simmons. And so we'll see what the Bulls do, man. We'll see what this front office is made of with this new management. So we'll see, man. And so with that being said, very exciting. A lot going on today. A lot of great basketball. Very excited, man. And so that concludes our episode today, everyone, of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. A lot of great games going on. Be a good day. So Jamar, just any final thoughts while we head off for the day?
Let's see. August 22nd, school's back in session. Basically, end of the summer is around the corner. So basically, I know we can't really do too much out here, but just try to enjoy what we can while we still have the good weather. Maybe at that point, when it starts getting cold, maybe guys put the guns down because it's too cold. Who knows? But
yeah, man. Put the guns down. Put the guns down, Midwest. Put the guns down, Chicagoland. Put the guns down, Chicago, Chirac. Put them down. It's not worth it. Put them down in Gary, Indiana, man. Put them down in East Chicago, Indiana, man. Put them guns down. So it ain't worth it. So, everybody enjoy the rest of this weather. Enjoy this Saturday. Be blessed, be safe, be smart. Know that there's still a virus out there. And be smart because it is a lot of violence and different things going on out there. But everyone put God first, man. Everything else take care of itself. Remember that. God said in his word, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all its righteousness, and all these things should come thereafter. And so everyone continue to seek the kingdom of God first, and everything else that we need, it'll come, and we don't worry about material possessions and this and that, but you want those things. You put God first and you serve him and you take care of God's business. God will take care of yours. And so as all the viewers view this and they listen to this, know that it's a fact. And I've seen it in my life, and I've seen it in many others. And if God did it for me, guess what? He can do it for you. And so with that being said, everyone, y'all enjoy y'all Saturday. Be blessed, be productive, have a safe and fun weekend. And thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Early Morning Sports Talk Podcast. Peace.
Deuces.